Hi everybody, my name is Avi and today we're going to talk about texture baking. Now texture baking is a very important process for 3D applications, especially gaming as well as VR simulations. So let's get started on the texture baking processes. First I'll go ahead and create a simple plane. Let's go to my top view and just create a plane, and then I'll go to create a sphere, well again in a top view. What I want to do is basically I want to position this thing so that I can drop a light, and with the light selected I can like show you how to do the texture baking. So okay, I have my plane and this thing set it up, and then now next thing I'm going to do is I want to add a light. So for my lights I'm going to use a V-ray lights over here. It's just only because a lot of people ask me about V-ray lights, and the normal lights a lot of people know about it. So okay, I'll go ahead and create a V-ray light. Just drag and drop over here, and then you will push it up, pull it up a little, push it maybe back over here. Okay, maybe rotate a bit, and okay. Alright, so now if we go for a render, very quick render, we see that okay, we have a pretty decent light setup going on over here. Great. I would now make the light a little bit reduce in color, the multiplier, so it's okay. Alright, now the next thing I'll do is to create this texture, the bake material. I'll click my object, and I'll go to this file called render to texture. So under the rendering menu, which is over here under the file rendering, you click to render to texture. Once you click that, and then you go down over here into this particular place called the output. Now in an output, click add. Once you click add, there is a lots of options comes up over here. I'm interested in this particular one that's called V-ray complete map. If you're using a normal light instead of a V-ray light, you could actually just choose complete map. So V-ray complete map, add my elements. I would like to choose is 256 by 256. I think this is good enough for this scene. So I click render. Whatever it comes up, you just say continue, blah blah blah, and then save it. So let's say I name my file as plain test 001. Save, sorry, JPG. You can use any other files that you want. You don't really have to use JPG. Okay, so my file is set, gone, and then now the next thing I will do is click the unwrap UVW. Once I click the unwrap UVW, I'll see in my modifier stack I have this thing called automatic flatten UV. Now what this particular automatic flatten UV does is that it takes out the UVW map that I have generated over here when I from this process. So I would like to save this automatic flatten UV so that I can load it back again when I am reloading. I'm deleting the lights. I'll show you in a couple of minutes how it is done. So let's save this plain test. Okay, 001. Alright, this is gone. Generally I would like to delete this one, but I would keep it for a while, and then once I come back to reload the textures, I will show you why I want to delete it. Next thing I want to do for texture baking is for the sphere. So again, I'll go over here. My render to texture is already on, so I'll just click to add, which is under output. It's the same process, and I'll go to V-ray complete map, add elements. Okay, click render, continue. Give it a couple of seconds, let it render. Okay, you're done. Press save. So this one will be sphere 001 test dot jpg. Okay, there you go. Alright, close it, unwrap only, and I have my automatic flatten UV, and I'll go to save and sphere SVHERE. Okay, great. Now the next thing I need to do is, now in a texture baking scene, I don't have the lights. I won't have any lights, but I will have all my shadows and everything. So what I need to do is I need to delete the lights. Now you see I have like a very flat, no light, dull scene over here. Now what I want to do is I want to add those light and the textures that I have baked it over in the texture. So I'll go over here and I'll click my material editor. In my material editor, I'll check any of this and say go to my diffuse channel, bitmap, and I will go to my textures, and I'll look for my floor. My floor was a plain test. Yeah, that was the one. So I click OK, and I assign it this one. Alright, it appears to look pretty good, but again, it's not really in the correct place. I'll show you what I mean is by doing for the next one. So let's say I go to my ball and I assign this guy, and I go to my bitmap and I go for my sphere test. Open, and when I assign it, I show the map in the viewport. I see that, okay, this looks a bit funky. It's not really correct, as you can see. What is supposed to happen is that all these things are supposed to be, you know, maybe it's over here and over here and over here, and then this part is supposed to be dark. How we can assign that EVW map? Once we assign the EVW map on top of this one, it should be able to take what is supposed to be. How we can do this is we go back to our modifier panel. Remember over here we had this thing. Now I'll delete this guy, and so I deleted my previous EVW mapping, and I'll click this guy called unwrap EVW. You can also get it from over here. Once you click your modifier list and then you click U, and you have this thing called unwrap EVW. Once I'm in my unwrap EVW, now I would like to load the map, EVW map that I have saved. So I go to my sphere test and then I click open. So again, now once I click that, I have a very nice looking stuff going on over here. So if I switch it off, it looks funky, and if I switch it on, it looks what it is supposed to be. So I do the same thing for the other guy. Go over here, I'll delete this guy, and I'll go to my unwrap EVW, and I'll load it, my plane. So again, if you see over here, although it looked okay, but it was not really correct. So if you see, now this is what it is supposed to be look like. Now again, if you see, I have no lights in the scene, and I have all my shadows and all lights, information, everything is stored in the texture. So this is basically the texture baking part. This is how you can do a texture baking for any scene. Now this one is a very simple scene, but if you know, if you have a building or anything else, you can just continue doing the same process. Normally this one is pretty good, but when you have lots of things, let's say you have, say, multiple sofas and cupboards and rooms and tables and chairs, it gets a bit tedious to have, you know, 150 VW maps and 150 render small textures sitting up over here and there. So in my next tutorial, I'm going to combine some of it, and I'm going to show you how you can use combinations of, like, say, you know, how you can take this one and this one together, and you can render it as a whole. Alright, so that's for today's tutorial. Thank you. See you again later.